Well, the NFL regular season ended, Washington losing to the Giants on the road. They finished 7-9 on the season, and again, no postseason. I'm Marvin Jackson, and welcome to the Sideline Report. Joining me to weigh in on the state of the burgundy and gold are Winston Hylton and Lou Holder.
Throw in the first Eagles game. Throw in the second Dallas game. There were so many missed opportunities this year. So many missed opportunities. You had the Eagles in your building. The very first game should have had that. You know, there's so many, and that's what the NFL is. That's what the NFL is. You got to take advantage of that. This season could have been totally different if they came ready to play from the beginning.
3 impactful plays per game. That's what you have. Those 3 plays. If somebody doesn't do their job, guess what? It goes the other way. That's what happened against Philly. That's what happened against Kansas City. That's what happened against New Orleans. You figure if Kirk Cousins doesn't have that strip sack fumble, it might be Redskins. You know, they may have been building themselves towards a victory. Kansas City, if Doxson makes that catch, remember that puppy? And then New Orleans, this may have been where the season went downhill just through the tubes is when Chris Thompson got hurt.
But we can't always blame it on injuries, right? That's not an excuse,
Sure we can, Marvin.
In the NFL.
Sure we can.
Although they had more injuries than almost every other team.
They were second. They had second most guys on IR. That at least was the line going into the Giants game, with the Giants being number 1. But you know, sure we can. That's the company line.
Well, we had some guys that jumped in there and did some good things, right?
Absolutely. That was the one thing about all the injuries. You saw who can play. The one thing I can say about the Washington Redskins over the last couple of years is that they always talked about having depth. They do have depth. We are seeing quality football players. But the problem is the scheme, things have got the ups and downs of a football season, they haven't been able to figure out. Last year it was the bungle out in London and other things. We're saying this every year. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
The Redskins were competitive, guys, against some of the NFC playoff teams. Let's get your take on these teams. Winston?
I still, out at NFC, I still like Carolina.
You still like Carolina?
I still like Carolina. You have Cam Newton. You finally have Greg Olsen healthy, and everybody knows he's almost like a Jordan Reed where, you know, Cam loves some Greg Olsen. You know, they got like a bro crush or whatever. I don't know what it is, but, you know, if he falls into trouble, Greg Olsen's right there. AFC, I mean, what we said before, it's 2 teams. Done.
There's 2 teams.
It's Pats and Steelers.
Right.
I mean, do you really see Jacksonville going into New England and winning, or Pittsburgh? Possibly. They did beat Pittsburgh earlier this year, but as far as like Kansas City going into New England and winning for the second time this year, nah, bro.
In the NFC, I take your Carolina and I raise your New Orleans because that Kamara and Ingram, I mean, that running game, Drew Brees is like a kid in a candy store monster. He doesn't have to win games now with his arm. He can now, you know, and their defense is okay.
It's better than it was.
It's better than it was. So I would not count out New Orleans at all.
And so you guys aren't Philadelphia without Wentz.
No, not them. Los Angeles is not necessarily proven. Yes, they do have that offense, but not quite sure.
Minnesota. Love some Gurley, though.
Minnesota, I mean, it's Case Keenum.
Okay.
Right.
Is he a playoff quarterback? So, I mean, you know, you almost have.
I wouldn't rule out Philly, but Nick Foles has got to play better than he has. But Drew Brees, he's one of the best quarterbacks of our era, and he has weapons now around him, right? So in the AFC, I agree with Winston. I mean, it's the Patriots and the Steelers. I mean, I don't see any of these teams. What really is a surprise for me and is very intriguing is, are we going to see the Kansas City that was at the beginning of the year, or the one that dipped in the middle of the year? Now, you know, I mean, Andy Reid
ended the season,
right? Exactly.
Andy Reid can still coach. Andy Reid can still coach, but you just don't know what team's going to show up. That's the only wild card out of the other teams remaining, is what Kansas City team is going to show up.
And Baltimore Ravens, what happened?
Well, Cincinnati happened.
You got to play the.
They were playing for Marvin, probably.
Absolutely.
You got to play the entire game. Buffalo's happy.
Which
Buffalo
that is.
So are the Ravens going to make a comeback next year in Seattle? Are those teams?
They have to get weapons. Baltimore has to get weapons. They have nobody that can catch the ball, number one, and they still have a hole at running back since Ray Rice left. So that's a problem for them. So, they, Ozzie Newsome and that whole crew up there, they're going to have to figure out some things as far as draft, free agency, or what have you. But, yeah, Baltimore can come back, but they got to get weapons.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of
This
Sideline
is fun.
Report.
Yeah,
This
man.
was real fun.
Can we go for another hour?
This was real fun.
Who's going to
That's the way you start off a new year.
Yes.
All right, let's thank Anthony Lanier for calling in, the tennis player and Redskin football player.
Absolutely.
And also thanks to Josina Anderson of ESPN.
Big old
Winston
JoJo.
and Lou, great work.
Thank
as
you.
always.
Happy New Year, Marvin.
Happy New Year, brother.
I'm Marvin Jackson. We'll see you next time. Happy New Year.